All right, welcome to the Supercoach Nuff channel. I think we've got the microphone working now. It looks a lot better at this end. So, just in time for team lists on Tuesday for round 16 of the 2024 season. So, without further ado, we'll get stuck in. Um, Dolphins Storm on Friday night being the first game. And so I was going to do the Dolphins, but the names jumped out straight away. Ryan Pappenhausen back for the Storm, which is massive. Interestingly, they've moved Fairlonger to the wing with Xavier Coates obviously out this week. And you imagine maybe next week if he's back, they've got Grant Atkinson in the centres. I'm just trying to think who their normal centre is. Is it Remus Smith? Yeah, he's benched. So, I mean, you could imagine probably Fairlonger might take that spot next week with Coates back. So, good news for Fairlonger owners. But yeah, Paps is back. How good. Wishart and Hughes in the halves. Back, the forward pack looks very much the same. Bronson Garlick, probably expected him to be in the nine with Harry Grant out. Um, and Jack Howarth on the bench for those who like a bit of Jack. For the Dolphins, Trey Fuller slots back in for the Hammer. Other than that, the back seven is business as usual. Forward pack, got the Bromwich brothers up front. I think that's pretty standard, to be honest. But Tavita Pangai Jr. on the bench, he's back in the NRL. Happy days. So I think he's pretty cheap. I don't remember if he's dual position. I'd imagine he would be. So I guess if you're looking for a downgrade that covers round 16 and probably round 19, could be worth a look. Extended bench, I think we'll worry about that another time. Titans Warriors, so the Titans looking very similar. Kinney at fullback's been in good form. Jaden Campbell at 6 is a interesting option. Cleese Haas is missing though. What's happened there? Have I missed something? Oh, it just makes way. Not even in the reserves, so that's a weird one. But Dave Fafita's back, which is great news. I know there was people getting off, but hopefully you held. For the Warriors, Edward Kosi comes in for DWZ. Other than that, can't see too many differences. Dylan Walker playing on the edge. I guess Kurt Capewell's being called up to the Origin squad. So interesting they've done that. Sticking with Jackson Ford at the 10. But, I guess that's what they're going with. So good stuff there. Roosters, Bulldogs. So probably match of the round. Not just saying that as a Bulldogs fan. Two teams in good form in the top 8. So Teddy's obviously in after missing Origin. Dom Young's back, which is probably good news for the Roosters. Forward pack, Terrell May starts. Don't know if that's been the case or not. I didn't actually watch the game last week. Victor Radley on the edge still. Nafahu White starting at lock. So, Tupanua Wong getting a start on the bench. Steep, the young kid. I wonder if that's his third game. He might be a interesting bottom dollar prospect. Particularly, they don't have a lot of middle rotation there. You'd imagine Terrell May's in for some big minutes again, similar to round 13. So I guess for those owners, that's good stuff. For the Bulldogs, Jarrell Skelton rather comes in for Stephen Crichton. Kiraz will move into the centres, so he's good wherever he is, Kiraz. So get on that. Curran starting on the edge, so Filiami Kikau in the reserve, so that might be one just to keep an eye out on. I know a few people were worried about Curran with that concussion, but it sounds like he's good to go. I'd imagine Farmer Silly would be the guy on the chopping block if they decide to get Kikau back in this week. Curran will probably just slide back to the bench and play as a middle forward. And Jake Turpin on the bench for Kurt Mann, obviously still out with his injury. Kurt Mann out. Josh Adokar will miss after suffering a head knock. That's not why he was out. That's all right. What have we got? Rabbitohs Seagulls next. So the Rabbitohs, Jai Gray back in at fullback for Latrell. Jack White and Cody Walker in the halves again. Kalamatangi at 13 again. Cheercam and Arrow on the edge. So, yeah, there's been some good options from South with their turnaround. Like, I do like it. They've got Walker at 7. You know, Damien Cook seems to have a bigger and better role. His scores have been quite good. So if you like Cook, you know, he could be one to get on. And Kyle Matangi is interesting. He has improved, but don't know how Cam Murray coming back is going to affect his minutes. So it's definitely a pod move, not one. I know I think I threw it up in the round review yesterday, but I found a different option that I probably should have picked up all along. We'll talk about that in the preview on Thursday. And for the Seagulls, Aaron Schott comes in for Ruben Garrick, obviously missing with a HIA. A lot of people trade now, given he'll miss next week as well with the bye, but he is a keeper. I think he should hold. Carl Lawton playing in halfback, so that's an interesting move from Manly. Imagine Luke Brooks would be the main man running the team around. I guess Carl Lawton's just on the edge doing a bit of defence. So I know he was a bit of an interesting trading option, but I don't know. Now that he's playing 7. Ethan Bullimore in the front row. Nathan Brown at 13. And then I guess Condon, Navale, James on the bench. Navale be on debut. I've never heard of him before. Yeah, Caleb Navale. Ayatasi James, I think that's how you say it. Condon, Chen Kum Tong have had a bit of first grade experience before. So Bullimore's in for Paseka. So I might have to have a look how long Paseka's out, because I saw a few people trading in Bullimore. I wasn't convinced, but they might need him to play some big minutes if Paseka's out long term. So I just realised, DC, Jake Travojevic, Olakwatu all missing. So with the Eagles playing 16 and 19, maybe their assets are a little bit more reliable than I originally thought. And then the last game on Sunday, the Tigers and Raiders. Awesome, thanks. I'm just checking the messages. I saw Goofy said that we could hear now, so I already had a go at this and no one could hear. I worked out it was because the microphone settings were stuffed up. Couldn't work out. I just thought it was because I was streaming, but there you go. The Tigers, so far Tape comes in on the wing. I think that's a change, isn't it? Don't know. Maybe it's not. But Galvin's in at 5'8". Ruben Porter's named to start on the edge, so I think he's bottom dollar cheapy, 3rd game this week. So if you're looking for a downgrade option, I think he might be your man. Matamua in the 13, so Seyfarth on the bench is interesting. But for the Raiders, business as usual, just looking at that lineup. Hudson Young in, obviously missed out on Origin selection, so he could be out for a big one this week. And Mariota, Mooney, Gula, I think that's Tom Starling's out. Wolford in is the only one there. So Adam Dewey listed in the reserves. So interestingly, he was playing halfback in the New South Wales Cup last week. So they might be looking to slot him in the 7, get him playing alongside Galvin to get him in the team. I guess the other option is to put him in the centres for Brent Naden, potentially. But I think they're going to try to keep the 6 on Galvin to keep him at the club. So hopefully you held Galvin because he's back and he'll be good to go. So I think that's the last of the team. It's only 5 this week, nice and simple. Where's 12? That's a good question. I think he missed out last week. He must be injured. So Yeah, so the Tigers are struggling with a few injuries, it would seem. Probably should pay more attention. Might be in the sports deck. So I was quickly going through this before. Just to recap, Gunner Guide Tigers top this week. Captain Hines, Nickera was good start to the weekend. Drinkwater, Lukey, Hughes, all solid 60s. Um, can't get rid of this. Sorry, got a annoying little window in the corner blocking my view. That's all right. But yeah, scored at 842. I'll just quickly flash my score back up there. So I had Nicker as well. Payne Haas scored well. Tedesco, Captain Edwards, which was a little bit disappointing, but that's fine. Still had Hines as well, so that worked out good. But a few sub 30 scores wasn't ideal. So let's have a look. See if 12's identified here as being injured or no. It just says he's not selected. That's not helpful. Sportsdeck not doing me. Have a quick look at the NRL Supercoach website. I suppose it's usually a bit more informed. Just says not selected. Just hating on Alex 12. Don't know what's going on there. It might come out that he's injured or something, but looks like he wasn't playing last week. So, sorry I can't help you out there, Peter, with what's going on with 12. I'm just glad you can hear me talking about the players. That's a win. But yeah, I guess winners and losers from this week. Probably the big winners. If we go the Roosters, Bulldogs, Tedesco, Matt Burton, and I did just mention Hudson Young. Obviously, missing out on Origin selection means they're good to go this week, which is nice for those teams. The young Tigers second rower, what was his name again? Porter. I don't know if he's that young. He might be old, but yeah, probably cheapie of the week. I guess I'll discuss this more in the tops, chops, traps, and slaps. I did have it drafted, but there'll probably be a couple of changes off of these team lists, just looking at them and having to think about it. So, yeah. Pappenhausen as well, big in. So, some good stuff this week. But I'll finish it up there, get it out there on the internet. Well, it's live streamed, it already is. So, as always, if you got any further questions, comments, thoughts, get them below the video. Give us a like if you enjoy the live team list reveals. Subscribe for all the fantasy sports content on the channel. And other than